Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So I want to talk about a fight that's on the horizon. Might be one fight, two fights away from actually taking place. Fight that we've been anticipating for at least the last 2 years, maybe even 3 or 4. Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol. And just so happens that these guys have collected all of the belts amongst themselves and stand as the only 2 champions in the division, and this would be for Undisputed. Both of these guys undefeated, have been creating along the way pretty solid resumes. Dmitry Bivol coming off of a huge win over Canelo Alvarez, in which he was a considerable underdog, and you have Artur Beterbiev coming off of another dominant performance versus Joe Smith Jr. And we seen how he performed versus Alexander Vasek in a unification match, which was a very good fight, a very entertaining matchup, and a very competitive matchup. If you look at Vasek coming off his biggest win versus Adonis Stevenson, and he went out there and he performed well, and Beterbiev has just been continuing to build momentum for himself and continue to sharpen up on his game. And he showed a lot of boxing in this last fight versus Joe Smith Jr., just showing different wrinkles, and he letting people see that he's not just all power, and he actually has. And I mean, this is something that I already knew by watching his fights and really paying attention to how he's been walking these guys down, and the subtle movements and angles and the way he positions himself to land these big shots and make them as effective as he possibly can, getting the most out of his shots. But he actually showed some back foot game versus Joe Smith Jr., which I thought was dope. Dmitry Bivol, I think this guy just simply mastered the art of boxing, if I'm just being honest with you. Dmitry Bivol does everything right, and he himself maximizes all of his tools and all of his gifts, and allows himself to work smarter, not harder. Sometimes people call his fights boring because he don't always go for the gusto. If he can just stand in front of you and outpoint you, outskill you, even bully you on the inside sometimes, or just make you, frustrated and agitated and make you give up on yourself because you can't land a good shot on him or you can't break that distance. If he can do that and not get the knockout, he's satisfied with that. He's mastered the art so well where he's afforded himself the ability to work smarter and not harder. Even when he could actually go out there and dominate even more and have even more decisive victories, sometimes he'll sit back and just take the easy win. That's how good this guy is, and I think this matchup would actually pull something out of Bivol that we haven't seen before. I also think that Bivol will pull something out of Beterbiev that we ain't seen before. You know what I'm saying? Now, as you see in the title, the fans want this fight, but Bob Arum, who is the handler of Beterbiev, he has other plans. I think he wants to kind of, either build up that fight with Bivol a little bit more, or just try to keep all the belts, with Top Rank, keep Beterbiev undefeated, you know what I'm saying, and keep him going on the path that he's going right now and being viewed as this monster, this unstoppable force, and not really put him in there with somebody that could, number one, potentially beat him, and then number two, could bring down the brand of Beterbiev. So I think that's a strategic move on Bob Arum's part by entertaining this fight versus Anthony Yarde, who is a highly ranked guy at 175, who I don't mind him getting an opportunity at Beterbiev. I think he deserves it. He's been working his way back into this position, grinding and staying in shape, staying on top of his game. I think he deserves another opportunity the way he performed versus Kovalev in the biggest fight of his career. He gassed out, but I mean that fight was very competitive, and I thought Anthony Yarde was really, I thought he could have won that fight. I thought he did enough to garner the respect of other fighters in that division, and I think he deserves another opportunity at a title shot. However, y'all know how I feel about Undisputed. I'm all for Undisputed. That's what I want to see in every division. I want to see the best fight the best. I want to see one face, one name, one champion. And the priority for me is Bivol versus Beterbiev. I mean, that fight is long overdue. And I think this is the perfect time for it to happen because it's for Undisputed. All the belts on the line. Both guys coming off of huge victories. Won a unification match, won a victory over a guy that a lot of people perceive to be the #1 fighter pound for pound in the sport. So this is the perfect time for this fight to happen, in my opinion. If I'm being honest, even though I say I don't mind the Anthony Yarde fight with Beterbiev, I simply just don't think he got what it takes to beat a guy like Beterbiev. He has size and strength, which could make the fight somewhat difficult. He can impose that on Beterbiev and maybe try to frustrate him, maybe try to outmuscle him or bully him or something like that. But a guy like Beterbiev, man, I mean, that type of tactic really ain't gonna work well for you unless you got dynamite in both hands, because that dude is extremely strong physically and he got great punching power. So I just think it's not a good matchup for Anthony Yarde. I don't really see him being much of a threat to Beterbiev, but I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. As far as Beterbiev and Bivol, I'll be honest, this is a 50-50 fight, true 50-50 fight that I would have to favor. If I'm going to favor anybody, I'm going to lean towards Dimitri Bivol. I just think stylistically, he would bring more things to the table, and I think he could potentially frustrate Beterbiev. And if it comes to a situation where Beterbiev can't knock him out, I like Bivol to win on the cards. And he got power as well. So remember, I said that I think Beterbiev would bring something out of Bivol and put him in that position where we have to see him like fight or flight. Put him in a position where he going to have to really let his hands go. And at that moment, we'll really see like what type of dog Bivol got in him, if he got any real dog in him. You know what I'm saying? I think that shit will be revealed in that matchup. And it'll be interesting to see if he could keep Beterbiev on the outside or keep him at that. He loves to play the distance game. See if he can control the distance well enough and frustrate Bivol. Keep him from being able to get leverage on his shots. Keep him from being able to get those angles that he loved to get to land those perfect shots. So, I think it's 50-50 fight that either guy can win. But, I would lean towards Bivol. But again, I think that's either guy can win that fight. And undoubtedly, these are the two best fighters at 175, in my opinion. I don't think there's nobody else at 175 that can claim that they're better than Bivol or Beterbiev. So that's the fight to make. Hopefully, Bob Arum, they can figure out how to make that shit happen. I mean, that fight just gotta happen, bro. Beterbiev is 35 now, 36. He's up there. Bivol, I'm pretty sure he ain't trying to wait too much longer to get that opportunity to prove that he is the best in the division and get that undisputed title. And I know Beterbiev want that same shit, man. So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. How do y'all feel about a potential undisputed match with Bivol, Beterbiev? And do you think Anthony Yarde could potentially play the role of spoiler and beat Beterbiev? Do you think that fight is remotely competitive? Or do you just think Beterbiev gonna run through him, crush him, get him out the way, chew him up, spit him out, and then line up next with Bivol for undisputed? And then keep in mind also, Canelo is fighting Triple G. After that fight, he might fuck around and want to go see Bivol again. So hopefully it ain't too many things that get in the way of this fight and continue to put it off. But, you know, we'll see what happens, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Contender regime boxing. I'll holla at y'all boys, man.